Hi guys, I hope everybody's doing good. Thursday morning. So the thing we want to talk about today, present over perfect. Okay, that's gonna be our topic. Now, for those of you who are new,
Hi guys. Morning.
some people might not know us. We have a lot of new people. My name is Joseph. What's your name? Her name is Jamie. Her mouth is full. That's how I like to keep it. And we are the Oily Travelers. So I don't know if you can see behind us. I think you can see. We live full time in an RV. We've been doing that since 2015, so that's over 6 years, 6.5 years now.
Oh my god.
Already, right? 6.5 years.
There's a little bit of valor for that.
Valor, you right there. So yeah, we travel full time in an RV, doing that for the last 6.5 years. We have two small children, 8 and 6, and if you do that math, you know that our youngest one was born in a birthing suite, went straight to the trailer. Never had a brick and mortar home, and been living this lifestyle for quite a while. And we decided to do this lifestyle because we didn't want to wait till retirement to do this kind of stuff. If this is something that made us happy, we just decided to start doing it right now.
We're gonna have to put just sort of like an introduction video somewhere in the files so that
Okay.
it's accessible, I think.
So we don't have to do
Because
this every
sometimes-
once in a while.
Well, it's not that we have to do this, it's just
I like talking about it.
I do too. Okay, never mind. Good morning, you guys.
So-
I feel like I'm a hot mess this morning. We actually, oh my god, we slept in, which is
Yeah.
rare. Absolutely,
Does do.
like totally rare for us. And obviously, you can see that our spot where we are here this summer gets a fair amount of sun.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but Brantley came in and I was like, oh, maybe I should put a blackout curtain on his side because he's up early. And Joseph says, no, it's 8:30.
Actually 8:30. It's time to get...
We never sleep in, but we have had a crazy few weeks.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
our bodies needed it.
You
Our bodies
clear-
needed rest, clearly.
Clearly. So the topic that we wanted to discuss today was being present over being perfect. And
Yeah.
we talked a little bit about that yesterday because we're doing an ULA challenge at the same time.
You should come join it. It's a lot of fun.
It's in this group. We're going to do the ULA challenge video probably right after this one because I looked at it. It's actually different than what we're talking about right now. It's more about ULA fun. So we'll do another live right after this, something different.
Okay, so I'll back up. Sorry,
go ahead.
I'm going to jump in for a second
Jump
because
in.
I think present over perfect has actually almost become its own like hashtag, and like people, it hits home, right? People think, yeah, present over perfect. Like why are we waiting until things are perfect?
Yeah.
But it's actually a book by Shauna Niequist, and I will post it. And I listened to this book. I did it on audiobooks, and it was when I returned to work after Emerson, I think, and it was
Okay.
when like some of my struggles really started.
Because you had some postpartum
I
after...
had postpartum,
Yeah.
and then I really struggled with the return to work after Emerson. My heart wanted to be home with the babies. I just felt like, why the heck am I doing this? And so...
And I think just to... Sorry, I don't want to cut you off after
No,
you
no.
cut me off. But I think...
Welcome. You'll notice this happens a lot.
So one thing that I don't want to see being overlooked is the postpartum part.
Yes.
I think a lot of people try to shy away from it or refuse to admit it because people might see that as a sign of a weakness. And I don't think it is. I think it's incredibly important to say it out loud and say, you know what, we had some postpartum issues. Your body is trying to tell you something and there's a lot going on. And I mean, me as a man, I will never even try to understand what a woman would be going through as postpartum because I barely have trouble understanding my own feelings. I'm not going to start trying to understand the different sex's feelings. But I don't want to just put it aside.
Brush over it like it was
Yeah,
no big deal. 'Cause
like
it was a
it's-
big deal for us.
It's important and it's okay to stop and consider that fact and to acknowledge that it's happening or that it has happened. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
That's actually a good point.
So
I like
just-
that you did that.
And if ever you think you might be going through it or you have gone through it and you've never talked about it, please do.
Yeah.
Say it out loud. And if the people around you are not the right people to listen to, first of all, maybe you need new people around you. But second, you can also reach out to us. Or Jamie does a lot of videos and she talks about postpartum, so might want to follow her along with her. Do you talk about that in Taking the Road?
I'm
Taking the
starting
Oily
to.
Road?
Taking the Oily Road. Yeah, actually, oddly enough,
If you
I
want
did
to plug that really...
a post this morning. That's my essential oil group, and I'm starting to open up just a lot of like communication. Like, yes, I post the things that are going on within Young Living and oils and that kind of stuff, but I'm really trying to tap into like the heart of it, like what oils have done for me. And so actually it's odd that we're bringing this all together, because my post this morning was kind of opening up honestly about what made me turn to oils, and like what a big part and what a big role they played in that whole postpartum recovery.
Yeah.
Working through emotions is the biggest thing, and for me it was listening to my body and listening to my heart and understanding that what the rest of the world thought was right for me isn't what I knew was right for me.
You know
and
yourself
it is
better than anybody.
incredible what your body will do. It will literally, it'll start as a whisper, and if you're not listening, it gets louder and louder to the point where like I had debilitating anxiety about work. And to the point where, and I don't mind opening up about this, but I literally was on a plane and had pretty much like a breakdown, got off the plane. Like I couldn't, closing that door, and I had to work with a psychologist for the better part of a year to get myself back. And I eventually did return to the sky for a brief stint, only to come to terms with the fact that I wanted to leave on my own terms when I was ready. I didn't want anxiety and fear to have scared me away from the job that I had loved for so many years. So I returned in the right headspace, and then made the right decision for me, for us, for our family, to leave my career. And it was a whole journey. It was weird. It was such a like the twists and turns that we went through with all of that.
A winding road.
And so the whole, how we got on this topic was that book presented itself in the midst of all of this, that return after, and everything that went around it. We actually relocated. We were back in Ontario then, because we were both flying at a Toronto base,
true.
and I was slowly easing my way back into the sky, and it was quite a process. So point being, if there's something heavy on your heart, if there is things that you are working through, the only advice I can say coming through that is, rather than looking for external advice from everyone else as to what you should do, for me personally, I needed to get quiet and listen to what my body and my heart was telling me to do. And then trust that, because somebody will always have an opinion on your life, right? Somebody will always think that, and some of the advice, like, I'm not saying that people are malicious or trying to tell you what to do, right? Like, all of it came from people's hearts. They thought that they were offering great advice to me, but it was speaking to my fears, and obviously leaving a really well-paid corporate job. It was hard. It was hard to make that decision for us as a family. Like, am I making bad decisions financially for us? Going down to one income. Nice of you to join our live.
Because I think one thing that's important also is that when we do these lives, and the reason why we call ourselves the oily travelers, obviously because we travel, oily because we do a lot of essential oils, but it's important to understand that it's all about wellness. It's not just essential oils. It's about wellness. It's about oils taking care of us. It's about us, our body, our heart, and having our mind in the right headspace. And everything is about wellness. Like, we want to lead a happier, healthier life and lifestyle.
It's balance, guys.
And it's stuff that we've gone through for the last, not 6 years, because that's when we've been in the RV, but I'd say probably in the last 8 years that we've tried to, okay, how can I navigate through all this and do more things that make me happy and less things that don't make me happy? And that's what we tried to promote. And the whole thing about the live today for present over perfect comes and ties in with that. We do lives, and it's not always perfect. Far from it. Yesterday's live was all over the place. But we show up, and that's what it's all about. If you show up regularly to your tribe, to the people who are listening to you, to each other, and actually be present every single day for yourself and taking care of yourself, it's all in the idea of leading a happier, healthier lifestyle.
Yeah, because I think when you say present, you think of, okay, I need to be present like when I'm with my kids or with my spouse or whatever, but be present for yourself.
Yes.
Too, right? Like, this also kind of lines up with, as a society, I think we numb out. We're hurting in a lot of ways, whether it's past trauma, whether it's your current situation, whether it's been a flippin' hard year.
Yeah.
Right? Like, people are feeling like they just need to get over it and get on with it. And yes, I think
Get
that
back to normal. Get
we
back to normal.
we even talk about that, right? Like moving forward and how you're coping, but you can't forget to actually touch that thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, unpack it to the point where you can move on in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And that's where sometimes things get shoved under the rug, and you're, fast-paced life, get going. Keep moving ahead, and there is a time and a place for that. I don't want to discredit that, but there's also a time when you just need to sit.
Yeah.
And when you're really, truly lost, sometimes that's when you need it the most, right? You need to quiet yourself just to be present for yourself.
And I hope people have done that in the last year, where if you were furloughed like I was, or if you were laid off or whatever, and you were kind of forced to slow down your pace, right? Because you're not waking up with an alarm, breakfast, get in the commute car, go to work, get back in the commuter car, get back to your house, dinner, homework, kids, bed, start over. Like, because if you weren't doing that, I hope you had a chance or took the time to slow down and look at what this normal is and reevaluate things. Is this really what you want as being your normal? And I think that's probably a danger that's happened in the corporate world, that the people who have taken the time to slow down say, wait a minute here. Is this what I want in my life? From Monday morning, 6 a.m. when the alarm goes off, until Friday, 6 p.m. when I finally get home, to dread or to completely hate my life, to try and have 2 days of bliss.
It doesn't even have to be full on hate. It could just be dissatisfied, right? If you don't
just
feel
unhappy,
fulfilled, or you're not maybe stepping into your purpose or working in something that's aligned with, and you know what, if this is your first sort of introduction to a lot of this stuff, I know it sounds foo-foo to some people. I know they're like, oh my God, you guys talk about your heart and your soul and being in line and having purpose, and man, guys, it's a journey and it's a process, but I promise you it is worth the work.
Yep.
Right? To get yourself in line, get yourself in check, and just be in a space where you are you.
Yep. Do you think you deserve to be happy?
Yeah.
If you're in a spot, in a situation, in a relationship, whether it's with a partner or with an employer, if you're not happy, are you in the right spot? Are you in the right place? Do things need to change?
And we've talked about it plenty of times too, where sometimes it's just a shift, sometimes it's just a tweak, sometimes it's a full-blown life overhaul.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to happen overnight, but by setting yourself up with your goals and your long-term visions and how you think that you would like things to feel, or you would like them to look, you can then start taking those baby steps in that direction. I think that's so important, right? Like, we're not there yet. We're nowhere near there yet.
Yep.
And
but we're going in the right direction.
100%. And I almost think, like, there is that constant evolving, right? So I don't know that we're ever truly there. We went through a little phase where I was like, no matter what, if money were no object, I'd still be doing exactly what I'm doing right now.
Well, we talk about that regularly. Like, even if something were to happen and we have an insane influx of cash, what would we do? Would we buy a house in Malibu? Would we get a condo in Sydney, Australia? No.
We'd continue doing what we're doing.
We would definitely, like, okay, fine, we'd upgrade the truck and the trailer because money's not even an issue anymore. But we'd still be doing something like this. We'd still travel. We'd still spend time with the kids and homeschool and just learn to discover other people's lives and how they live, and go find different topography, go find different countries and meet people and talk and learn. And the kids' homeschooling is just all over the place. Like, a very quick example.
Life schooling. I called it life schooling.
Life schooling,
Sorry to cut you off, but I kind of renamed it because I was like, it isn't really homeschool. It isn't necessarily unschool. It really is life school. We're teaching them, like, life
travel
skills.
Schooling. There's world schooling. There's so many terms. But yesterday, Brentley and I went for a hike just behind the campground here in the woods. And this is a spot that is obviously renowned for bouldering and for rock climbing. So we started walking, and then I heard voices, and Brandon's like, oh, let's go check it out. So we go up, and then we find a couple. Well, I don't think there were a couple, but anyways, a man and a woman, and he just rappelled down, and then she was getting ready to go up. So I asked him, like, do you mind if we stay and watch you guys?
Do you mind if we creep
Like,
on you
do you
for
mind
a
if we
while?
creep on you? So like, yeah, go ahead. So the entire time that she's rock climbing, and I'm telling Brantley what I know about rock climbing because I did a bit of it, and just try to be quiet because I want to respect the fact that they have to focus when they're doing this, because if you don't focus, you're falling from 50 to 100 feet off, you know. And once they came down, we asked them a couple of questions and we talked about it, and I explained, like, we homeschool, and any chance that I get to educate my child on whatever the topic is, it's a bonus. We just did homeschooling today on rock climbing, and then further down the hike, we met people who were bouldering. For those who don't know the difference, rock climbing is when you're going way, way, way up, and you've got ropes to help yourself in case you fall, that you don't fall all the way to the ground. That you just still stay on the rock wall, but you've got your partner that's holding you. Whereas bouldering, you're doing it maybe between, you know, a foot and 10 feet off the ground. You don't have any ropes. If you fall, you're falling on mattresses that you put below you, kind of a thing. It's a different thing, and they threw a couple of terms at me yesterday that I gotta
Regurgitate.
bouldering problems and rock climbing tree. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. But everything becomes a chance to educate ourselves and educate our kids in life.
Yeah.
And that's where the life schooling comes from. And I know we're completely getting off the topic here of present over perfect. And I think maybe, well, actually, no. This is present over perfect. We're here. Our life isn't perfect. We're all over the map. But
We're sharing life.
it's just that we show up. We try to show up, and we have a good group of people who show up in their different fields for their people, and they show up for us also. So I hope that we inspire people to start following what they really want to do with their lives, just like we follow people who inspire us to keep doing what we're doing right now. So it doesn't always show up pretty, it doesn't always show up perfect, but every day we show up and try to say, find what makes you happy. Start following it. If you're not in a situation that you're happy, there's only one person who can change that situation, and that's you. And I think that's what it has to come down to, is that you have to be a big boy or a big girl and admit if you're not in a happy place, there's only one person who's going to change that.
Yeah.
And if you don't change it, you're just going to be in the same unhappy place a year from now, 2 years from now, 10, 20 years from now. Those are decisions you have to make. So, and that, you know, like being a certified life coach, one thing that I always say is that I don't give advice, and I don't tell people what to do. You have the answers inside you. All I try to do is to guide you through the whole situation to find your own answers, because we've all been there. If you're in a relationship and it's not a great relationship, you know that that's not the one that you're going to want to spend the rest of your life with and marry, then you're wasting your time and you're wasting that person's time. If you know you're not in the right spot, you might stay there because it's easier, it's comfortable, blah, blah, blah. We've all been there, we've all done it.
Yep.
But at some point, you have to say, okay, if I don't change something,
Nothing
next
changes.
year I'm in the same spot. Nothing changes. If you don't change anything, nothing changes, right? So it's the same thing with your fitness. If you're not eating healthy, and if you're not trying to move your body at least 30 minutes every single day, and you're gaining some weight, COVID weight, whatever you want to call it, if you don't change something, that won't change either.
Yeah.
If your finances are in the dump, but you keep buying your Starbucks or your Timmy's every morning, and you're spending that $5 every single day,
Latte factor.
that's $150 a month. That's, I can't even count that high, but it's probably around $1,600 a year on morning coffees and donuts or muffins.
That could be
That's
invested.
$1,600 that you can put elsewhere.
Yep.
And if you don't change your family dynamic because you're not getting along with your partner, you're not communicating probably with your kids, it's not going to get better if you don't change something.
It's like you say, well, we say, we picked this up from the ULA guys, if you're not working on your marriage, you're automatically working on your divorce.
Yeah.
Right? It isn't, and I love this, it is not hard concepts.
Yeah.
These principles, that this framework is not difficult. What's difficult is committing to it and staying
Digging.
committed to it and doing the work.
Digging.
Right?
peeling back the layers of the onion and getting to your true self. And then once you get there, it's like, okay, I know what I need to change.
Yeah.
Like Jamie and I have both gone through the whole framework, and I know what I have to change. It's incredibly simple, and I knew it all along. I've known it for the last 20 years, but I never did anything about it until it's like, okay, if I don't change something about it, nothing will ever change.
Yeah. And
I
you'll
know,
work through
yeah.
various blockers. You'll work through various
Yeah.
things that might be standing in your way, self-sabotage, the things that might be standing there. And sometimes it's hard to look in the mirror, but those are the times that you're going to experience the biggest growth by taking a good hard look in the mirror, figuring
Yeah.
out what it is you need to change, and committing to
Yeah.
actually changing it, right? That's the work on yourself is going to be the most the hardest but yet most rewarding work that you're ever going to do. And if you're there, I mean, there's plenty of resources. That's part of us showing up here, is one, not only to talk about this stuff, right? Maybe get those creative wheels spinning, the juices flowing, but also for us, it's very much about lifestyle, right? And getting outdoors and traveling and all that stuff. And hey, if you just happen to love that kind of stuff, well, here's some ideas. Like we talk about it, multiple streams of income is kind of the way to go, right? Diversify yourself, have multiple streams of income, so that you can get to a point where you can go, if your end goal, like us, is to travel, to explore more, to really live differently and get outside, these are the baby steps that'll get you there, right? And this is just we just happen to be in that space, working, doing the best we can. So hopefully it's like Joseph and I always say, throw those pebbles, watch the ripple effect. Maybe you might be inspiring somebody else that you don't even realize. So
Absolutely.
If you've got a dream or a business idea, I hope that you are not self-sabotaging yourself by not showing up.
Yeah, I like that.
Because the value, the real value, is somebody watching someone transform.
Yep.
Right? And learning, because we've all seen it. You see somebody somewhere, and then, they make it, and it's like, I'm here. You're like, that is really great. That's amazing. I'm really happy for you. How did you do it?
Yep.
So hopefully by sharing and
sharing your growth with the people.
Yeah, people can grow together, and you can all look back and be like, wow, look what we did.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's I think the whole point of present over like I'm sure there's a bunch of people watching the live or watching it in replay who have their own small businesses, have their own network marketing businesses, or have their own online store, whatever it is. Be present, show up. Like you might not show up perfectly. It might not be the best post. It might not be the best Instagram reel. It might not be the best YouTube video, but still show up and keep doing it, because what you might think you failed at in showing that might inspire somebody who's like, okay, I can do this. I can maybe even do it better than this person. But then they start working at it also. Mm-hmm. And you don't know who you'll inspire in your group. Like, you might think that your post is really bad, but maybe that post, the way you wrote it, spoke to someone in the perfect way that person needed to hear it, to start changing their life and start doing something about it. And whether it's oils or Epicure or Beachbody or whatever, like if you have an online store about jewelry, about clothing, whatever it is, be there, show up, and talk about what you do. And it might inspire somebody to start doing their own thing, or bring in extra dollars. Like when we have these small businesses, if you have your career 9 to 5, that's paying all your bills. This side hustle is just extra money, so you don't need a lot of sales to make extra money. And I remember listening to a podcast about a woman who got into the female swimsuit industry. Talk about a field that is oversaturated. There's so many people and so many companies who do women's bathing suits. But she got into it anyways, and she went with her own beliefs and her own way of seeing things. Yeah. She's not making millions. She talked about making only $1,000 more a month. Yeah. But that is changing her life.
But she found her niche as well.
$1,000 a month. No, she's not going to get rich over it, but it is definitely affecting her bottom line in a very positive manner. Mm-hmm. So whatever situation you're in, if you only got $1,000 more per month on a side hustle, how would that $1,000 a month
how would that change your life? Yeah, change your family dynamic, perhaps vacations or whatever.
You don't have to go from a small business you're starting to making $8 million a year. You don't have to do that. If you only made $12,000, $22,000 extra a year, that will change your life. Sure, there are people who become crypto millionaires, billionaires. We all heard those terms. Many people fail, but what about the people that you don't hear about? They just make an extra $6,000 a year by doing a side hustle that they spend 8 hours a week on it.
Yeah. But they happen to love it too,
But
right?
they love it, and it's something that they
if it's in
enjoy.
line with your values and it's your passion.
You're doing something
Yay.
you love,
Good on
and
you.
you're being paid for it.
Yeah.
Just because they show up and say, hey, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do, this is what I do. I'm a certified life coach. So if somebody needs help to find those dreams and those goals and the pathway to get through it, give me a call. I'm here for you. If you want to take care of your wellness, getting rid of chemicals in your home, getting a healthier lifestyle, having oils, because you know, and we all know that oils are very helpful, contact Jamie. If you're looking for side hustle ideas, come to our, well, actually you're on our up and coming Traveling Debt Free Moms group. So what I'm going to be asking today, if you know anybody who's in those realms of anything they're trying to change their life, whether it's life coaching, whether it's oils, or whether they want motivation and ideas to do side hustles, in this group, go invite 3 people.
Go tag them.
Go tag them, invite them, because you can invite directly. Invite them to see if they want to join our group and tell them why you've joined this group and if you like being in this group. If you don't, that's okay, no hard feelings. But if you do, share it with someone. Now you're helping us with our business. Now let's flip it around. If you have a side hustle that's like, hey, I got this idea of something I'm working on and I don't know where to go from here, give us a shout out. Maybe we'll be able to post like, hey, and because we did that. Yeah. We had a young girl from Young Living who wrote a book about plant-based, do you remember her book?
Oh, that wasn't Young Living. That was Flight Attendant. But
no,
still,
did
same
I say
thing.
Young Living? Sorry, yeah, Flight Attendant. She was a WestJetter, but not a flight attendant. Anyways, we promoted her book.
Yeah.
Because she tried a side hustle. She has this really good cookbook about plant-based items.
And I happened to be in a space where I was exploring all of that for us as a family.
You actually bought that book.
So we bought the book and we
promoted that for her. We're like, why not?
Chatted about it. Yeah.
Her winning and selling more of the books doesn't affect us. No. Like, we don't lose because she sold more books. But we're promoting somebody who's trying to do something.
When I have an opportunity to help other entrepreneurial moms, or if they have network marketing businesses, if I can run classes for them, or I can host parties or whatever, right? Like it.
You were talking to me about something this morning that you did.
Yeah, I did a party with leggings. I was looking for good quality leggings, anyways. I was disappointed with Lululemon, and I was just looking for some activewear and stuff. So I hosted a party and. Was able, like, it's endless, right? Like, you can find the things that are in line with your value system and that work for you, and don't be afraid to help others along the way, right?
Absolutely.
That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Ta-da!
I think we've gone through it. Present over perfect.
Show up.
But then this, and this.
Ripple. The best way to sum it up is that ripple effect, I think, right? You're throwing those stones, and your transformation, if you are chasing down big dreams and goals, may inspire people you don't even realize.
Yes.
People, there's a lot of people that just sort of sit in the sidelines and watch, right? But then you don't know what that's going to trigger inside of them. It's like you talked about the...
Speaking about... Go ahead, sorry, I want to...
No, I was just talking about when your pay it forward type stuff, right? All of that. You don't know how that's going to affect somebody else. That's how you change the world. Those little tiny shifts in people's energy and hugs and love.
And what I wanted to add is that coming again back to what you just said, that you don't know who you're going to be inspiring. Jamie and I, we just do our thing, right? We're doing this lifestyle. We talk about it. We don't preach it to anyone. We just talk about it. And we had somebody recently reach out to us and say, we're seriously considering getting a motorhome and traveling because we see how happy you guys are. Yes, obviously you go through struggles. It's not always easy. Right now I'm going to work tomorrow morning. I'm getting on a flight at 6 in the frickin' morning to start at 40. I'm going to be gone for the next 6 days, so Jamie and I won't be able to be together. And yes, we have our own struggles, but at the base of it, we're happy. Like, we lead a life that we've set ourselves up with that we're happy in.
Yeah. And even the challenges, like Joseph did a post this morning, I hope you guys saw it, about, if you're struggling right now, it's like, hell yeah, we're struggling.
Yeah.
But I know that we're going to come out the other end stronger, and what this is doing is activating us into action even more so to change things, because there is no, you can sit in your comfort zone all you want, but there's no growth there.
Yep.
You're not going to evolve, you're not going to change things if you're just sitting there miserably comfortable.
Yep.
Right? Like, this is a hard season for us, but we're going to continue to show up.
Yep.
We're going to continue to work really hard to get to the place that we want to be,
Yep.
where we're not, we're grateful. I think you have to always sit in gratitude, but know where you're going. Be flexible in the path, right? The journey's going to change
Yep.
a little bit, and then just go for it.
Absolutely.
Be chasing something.
Yep.
On that note,
Yeah, be grateful
have faith.
and go get your little life.
Love you guys.
Bye.